Jim in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hey, Jim.
Hello. Thank you for calling. You were talking about President Kennedy and his initiative for peace, but wasn't he the president that overthrew the Vietnamese government, Ngo Diem and his brother?
No.
I mean, we were already involved in Vietnam before he was killed.
We were involved in Vietnam, yes, and it wasn't a good thing. But the guy who really put that on steroids was Lyndon Johnson, who was also a Democrat, and also has good and bad parts to his legacy. I spent most of my teenage years shouting, "Hey, hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today?" So I certainly was no fan of Lyndon Johnson then. In retrospect, I think his War on Poverty was a damn good program. But the fact of the matter is that Harry Enrique Ruiz Williams, who was one of the two leaders of the Bay of Pigs and was very close to the Kennedy family, after Jack Kennedy was killed, I interviewed Harry for a book that Lamar Waldron and I wrote called Legacy of Secrecy that hopefully will be made into a movie this fall with Leo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. And in that interview, when I was talking with Harry, there was a coup that was supposed to happen in Cuba on December 5th that was being, in part, orchestrated and participated in by a fellow by the name of Almeida, Juan Almeida, who was the number 3 man. He was the head of the military in Cuba, the number 3 man in Cuba. He's just died in the last couple of years, so we could name him in our book. But this was an active U.S. military operation right up until about a decade ago. And so the first version of our book, we actually couldn't name him because it was still a CIA, top secret thing. And so Harry, after Kennedy was assassinated in late November of '63, Harry and a few other people went into President Johnson's office, into the Oval Office, and sat down with him and said, "We still have the people in place to have this coup on December 5th, 1963, and in Cuba, and you're going to have a guy who's pro-American, but also wants Cuba to be independent. No more mafia down there, no more America owns Cuba stuff, but an independent democracy off our coast. We're ready to do that." And Johnson, of course, Kennedy had been badly burned by the Bay of Pigs thing, which was something that Nixon had started in 1960 as an October surprise against Kennedy. And Kennedy didn't even know about until maybe 1962. And so Lyndon Johnson just went off on him. Harry told me that Lyndon started screaming obscenities about those blanking Cubans and said, he didn't want to have anything to do with Cuba. It was now at that point in time, Lyndon Johnson was still quite suspicious that Fidel Castro had something to do with the assassination of Kennedy. And this is just a week after the assassination. And anyhow, Lyndon Johnson went off on the Cubans, and then he said, "I'm going to make my stand against communism as far as blankety blank as I can get from this continent. I'm going to do it in Vietnam." And because you had to, if you were a Democratic politician, Democratic president, the Republicans were so good at stirring up fear of communism that if you didn't plant some flag in the soil that was like, yes, I'm fighting communists, you would just get mowed down in the elections. And so it was Lyndon Johnson who made that decision. He made that decision in early December of 1963. And, I don't remember the exact date of the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, but that was really what kicked off the war in Vietnam. You could say that Kennedy sort of set it up, but, we had troops in a lot of different countries, and particularly in Central America. I mean, we've been messing around down there, the CIA, the ITT plots. I mean, go back and Google it for a long, long time. So anyhow, thanks for the call.